Sorry about that. Just had an interjection from Hake there telling me a little something there. Folks, I think you can see me live now. YouTube, how you doing, YouTube? Test. Hey, YouTube, I'm live. I was live, actually, a few minutes ago. So I was talking to Rumble and D Live. I wasn't talking to YouTube. Yes, I'm live. How you doing? I appreciate you all tuning in. I already introed the show. It's probably for the best. Let's be real. YouTube audience, it's for the best that it started this way. Don't even ask. Don't worry about it. Just don't ask. How you doing, YouTube? We're live. American Anchor, baby. This is your host. I'll say hi a little bit to you since I already said hi here, but I was talking to the folks about Jennifer Crumbley. I was telling you guys what I'm going to be talking about today. And I got stuff on my mind. I got this mother of this school shooter who's at the center of this trial. She's being blamed partly for the school shooting, for the killing and all that her son took in. That's Ethel Crumbley. So I wanted to say something about that because the details are quite interesting. I think you'll find them quite interesting, the details, as an insight into the society a little bit here. Okay, there's plenty of things I want to get into. I appreciate you tuning in. Now that we're live on YouTube, how you doing, folks? Appreciate that. You could call in 888-775-3773. You want to jump on the line, you want to talk. Yes, Charlie Chutch. How you doing? Everybody freaking out. Nobody, calm down about the hair. You know, it freaked out the ladies, which I think is proof, folks, for those who were tuning in yesterday, who were hearing my show yesterday. I think it's proof a range is too feminine. It's too rock star. It's too feminine. You know, a range of haircuts. It freaks out the ladies. You're scaring the girls. It's not stable, rock solid, like the same old haircut you get, like a man. Good hair, don't care. But anyways, I'm just messing around a little bit. But this story with this Jennifer Crumbley and this whole thing has got me not all into it, but the details are just fascinating. This shooting that happened back in 2021. Ethel Crumbley. Shall I even show you a picture? I remember when some wouldn't even say the name of these shooters. It felt like it was happening every other day, every other month or whatever. Oxford High School in Michigan. A mass shooting in 2021. They call it a mass shooting, right? 15-year-old Ethel Crumbley with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun, pistol, murdered 4 students, injured 7 people. That was 6 other students and a teacher. Use name in the chat is funny. You're scaring the girls. Say what you really want to say, Nick. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I pronounced your name right, Charlie. But I am the blackest one here. Charlie Chutch. I apologize for the tangent. We're talking about Ethel Crumbley and the mess. Because this Jennifer Crumbley, the mother of this Ethan now, who's now what? He must be an adult now. Doesn't matter. They charged him as one. The mother of the teenager who killed 4 students at an Oxford, Michigan high school was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in a trial that stood as a test of the limits of who's responsible for a school shooting. So, yeah, you're following, right? That's the story right now that's got me talking and thinking. And I think the first thing I want to do here is show you the sentencing of this woman, Jennifer Crumbley. Right? They're sentencing her. In the like it says here, CNN, I'm reading all this from CNN. that this trial is testing the limits here, because the state has brought a trial in a novel way where they're expanding this guilt here. And the reasoning is mental health, they'll say, to protect the lives of other students, to bring justice and meaning to the deaths of those that died at this shooting and others. But there's really only one reason this is even happening, in my opinion. So the jury of 12 deliberated for more than 10 hours. And yeah, let's just play this here little clip, huh? This here little clip. Let me see where we'll have. Bingo.
Count one of involuntary.
Let me see if I can change the volume here, because you know there was some mess earlier this morning that might not let me change the volume here. Okay, let's just watch, folks. Sentencing of Jennifer Crumbley.
Count one of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count two of involuntary manslaughter in regards to Tate Muir, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count three, as to involuntary manslaughter regarding Hannah St. Juliana, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And in count four of involuntary manslaughter against Justin Schilling, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Thank you, Woman. You can be seated. And I'm going to close all the doors.
So these are guilty of involuntary manslaughter of the killing of those 4 students, right? They're talking about those students.
Juror in seat number 1, was that and is that your verdict?
It is.
Juror in seat number 2, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 3, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 5, was that?
That's the lawyer. That's her lawyer. You saw her mother behind this woman that they're zooming in.
And is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 6, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 7, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 8, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 11, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 12, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 13, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 14, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 16, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
12 jurors, all yeses, unanimous, as you can see, as you heard, obviously. The jurors there, guilty of this involuntary manslaughter. They named the 4 that were killed. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm always surprised sometimes. I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm not a lawyer, right? Involuntary manslaughter, you know, I'm sure they had a whole trial. Obviously, they had a whole trial on how to really pin it on her and stretch the meaning of involuntary manslaughter. But that was what the jury agreed, that she was guilty in part of the death of those students, despite not being there. It's quite an interesting case for many reasons, right? But another interesting thing, there's people in my chat, I didn't even get to say it. I didn't get to it. People in my chat, they're like, angry woman. I'm annoyed at this gal's voice. Why are women in charge of the justice system in America? Hey, you guys take it. Take the mic. You guys take it. You guys got this one. Where's the dad? Okay, that's different, but fair question, Bobby Blanco. We'll get to that. Female and female-minded men running things. You guys notice how many feminine voices were there? You know, in fact, it's a female prosecutor. It's a female defense attorney for the Jennifer Crumbley there. Female judge, female, and I don't know. I was just counting. There's 12 jurors, and I was just counting. It sounded like, don't they have like a lead juror that presents what the jurors talked about and deliberated on? Don't they have like a prime juror, juror prime? I don't know. It sounded like the one who was, you know, explaining what they were deliberating on was a woman. The prime juror may be a woman. I'm not a lawyer, so don't, whatever. But it sounded like 7 feminine voices, 5 masculine ones, in my opinion. It sounded a little feminine. All female show. I think that'll be significant here shortly, truly. But, okay, it's an interesting case. Who's at fault? They're bringing charges. In fact, they've brought charges on this Jennifer Crumbley. She's partly responsible for the death of these teenagers. And I don't know, what do you guys think about it? In a novel case that stood as a test of the limits, the jury of 12 deliberated. She was taken from the courtroom in shackles. She faces up to 15 years in prison. So, pretty significant. And her sentencing hearing was set for April 9th. Broadly, the prosecution's case, this is interesting right here. The prosecution's case, take this in. So the prosecution. The prosecution's case, the defense, it's all interesting here. The prosecution's case relied on an unusual and novel legal strategy and represented an attempt to expand the scope of blame in mass shootings. And in its specifics, the trial has provided an intimate view of the collapse of one American family in a tangle of sex, violence, and mental illness. And they give you these reasons. And some sordid things came out during the case, an affair. They fought about even speaking of this. There was allowed the female defense attorney on the mother's side decided a switch of strategy and allowed it for some reason. And so the prosecution argues that she was negligent, is responsible for these deaths because she was negligent in giving a gun to her son Ethan, who's 15, and failing to give him proper mental health treatment despite warning signs. And so that's the prosecution. In a rare case that takes some really egregious facts, Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald said in closing arguments Friday, I don't know why I said the K word so strongly like that. It takes the unthinkable, and she has done the unthinkable. And because of that, 4 kids have died. So you see their reasoning here. It's the gun, and you didn't care about his mental health. He should have done something. So there were signs. Apparently he was drawing concerning images. He was depressed. He was telling his parents that he was seeing hallucinations of demons, ghosts, things like that. Although it's all quite unclear. Because the parents' defense is, well, that wasn't real. It was all just joking around with their kids. So the defense here, here's an interesting thing too. The defense, Jennifer Crumbley, the mother's defense, is quite interesting. Shannon Smith, defense attorney for Jennifer Crumbley, their defense argued that the blame lay elsewhere, primarily on her husband. One of the primary arguments for the defense is the blaming of the husband, in fact, for improperly securing the firearm and for encouraging, apparently, the hobby of guns and all that. That's really what the opening statement and everything. It's one of the main arguments here. The blame also lies on the school for failing to notify her about her son's behavioral issues, and on Ethan himself, who planned and carried out the attack on his own. So they're laying the blame. The defense here, it's on the husband and everywhere else, not her. And that this case is dangerous for parents everywhere. Can every parent really be responsible for everything their children do, especially when it's not foreseeable? Smith said in closing arguments, and in a statement that probably many can assign some truth to. Like, that's probably somewhat true, right? I can't be responsible if my son goes and does something crazy like this. Jennifer Crumbley took the stand in her own defense. In a remarkable moment, expressed no regret for her actions. CNN provides us this clip here I want to show you. We got a little clip. And I want to show you Jennifer Crumbley admitting not being a good mother. And I want to point out how the part of the defense, too, was this Shannon Smith person was saying that, then she's not here to try and prove that Jennifer Crumbley was a moral person, a good person. And the stuff about an affair came out and all this. And I'm sure all those details were used to make some character statements and whatnot. But the defense is saying, well, we're not here to deal with her morality and how if she's a good person, but whether she's responsible for this. And so that's their strategy, and it's for that reason that Jennifer Crumbley takes the stand and explains herself a little bit. She, I think, even admits not being a good mother. Is that a crime? Let's watch here Jennifer Crumbley.
The prosecution admitted, you say that you failed as a parent. Are you a failure as a parent?
I don't think I'm a failure as a parent, but at that time, I guess I didn't see, I felt bad that Ethan was sad at those things, and I guess I don't know, I just felt like I failed somewhere. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just that point in time, I just kind of felt like somewhere I failed.
Do you believe there was anything, do you believe that you knew or had reason to know your son was a danger to anyone else?
No. As a parent, you spend your whole life trying to protect your child from other dangers. You never would think you have to protect your child from harming somebody else. That's what blew my mind. That was the hardest thing I had to stomach, is that my child harmed and killed other people.
Do you believe there were things you were thinking at the time, I should do this, but I'm not doing it? Do you look back and think that?
No, I don't. I mean, of course I look back after this all happened, and I've asked myself if I would have done anything differently, and I wouldn't have.
If you could change what happened, would you?
Oh, absolutely. I wish he would have killed us instead.
And I honestly think some of that was sincere. Mainly just seeing when you're she says, I guess I failed, right? What I mean by that, but the sincere part is when you see a kid, I think every parent on some level, when they see their kid, as hard as it is to admit to the world, to yourself, somewhere deep, you know, wow, this is a reflecting moment. Where did I go wrong? Why is my child angry, killing, or anything in between? Gay. There was a controversy recently where someone was saying if they saw their son was gay, it would make you think, where did I go wrong? But I guess she felt bad that he was sad. I don't know. She didn't quite admit though that she was that she saw herself as a failure in her parenting. I didn't quite see. I just didn't know. As a parent, you protect your whole life. You protect your kid from others. I didn't know you had to protect them like this. Which is a funny thing about parents, mothers. They don't really, when things go wrong, it's like, I just didn't do what I was doing enough. I didn't mama enough. It's not a sign. It's never a sign to look at yourself and be, oh, maybe I was doing things wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this whole thing the wrong way. I didn't protect him enough. I didn't mama him enough. And, you know, she said, I wouldn't have done anything different looking back. And, you know, when you consider the strategy of the defense here, I guess that's what you would say if your strategy is, there's no way I'm responsible. It wasn't me who killed them. I didn't even leave the gun in a bad place. That was the dad, not my fault. Nobody even told me. The school didn't even tell me. I'm just being a mom. I'm just mom, and I do mom. And no one's even telling me, no one's helping me. It's your fault. So if that's your defense, I guess you would say, I wouldn't have done anything differently. But I wonder if she really believes that. I think most parents think. Most people, even if they're not parents, full of regrets. Full of regrets. Coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, coulda. She did give us a woulda, coulda, shoulda. She says, I wish he would have killed us instead. I think that part was sincere too. Now it's dark, but I don't know. People in hell, they're already dead. They want to die. They killing themselves slowly. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But it's amazing for how hard it is for parents to see blame. Is this mothers? I wonder, she says, I wonder if the dad, I would like to hear the dad on this one because she's like, I wish he would have killed us instead. I wonder if the dad was in the room. I wonder if he'd been like, whoa. Do I get a say in this? Hold on. Wait, one second. Do I get a say in this? 1 second. I wonder if he would have answered differently. Like, yeah, okay. Maybe I messed up, but I don't want him to kill me. I don't want to die. Maybe I messed up. I don't know. I don't know. We're not seeing the dad. I would have liked to hear him on this one, though. I wish he would have killed us instead. Say, hold on, woman. You're taking the joke too far. It is amazing how hard it is I wonder if the dad sees the blame or not, but it's amazing just how mothers, it's hard for them to see the blame. Even your son, it's one thing when it's hard to pinpoint it. It's unclear, but here's your son killing people. He's killing people. And you're like, I don't know, I guess I could have done, I don't know if I would have done anything different. I mean, he planned it. The dad did that. The school didn't tell me. He's depressed. He's crazy, not me. So, I don't know. What are y'all thinking about this? I'll give you my take here. I've asked myself if I would have done anything different. And I wouldn't have. Crumbley's husband, James Crumbley, is scheduled to go on trial on the same charges in early March. Jennifer Crumbley's defense and the prosecution were barred from speaking publicly about her case until the end of James Crumbley's trial. And as you heard, she says, I wouldn't have done anything differently. We're talking a little bit about reflecting on yourself and all this. I mean, their defense is blaming it on her husband. That's literally part of her defense. I mean, you're going to tell me that there were no problems at home? No problems at home. There may have been, the thing is, things may have even been hunky-dory. But it's about the spiritual. It's about the spirit. It's about the heart. You can even play nice your whole life, but if the heart is against your husband, if your kids are against the father, when the cards are down, when it matters is when they'll really show themselves. So who knows? But that's what they went with. That's not my fault. It's his fault. It's kind of amazing too that at the same time, their defenses centers around saying, well, he did this killing, not me. Ethan killed them and planned this. It's interesting. They wouldn't extend that same defense to her own husband saying, well, yeah, I mean, you may think, well, he could have been safer with the firearm, but he too did not kill them. It was Ethan. So you know what I'm saying here? If you really were an honest person and believed, maybe that would have convinced the jury. Which is another stupid thing. The jury's probably all women, as you heard. Mostly women. Feeling bad for mothers maybe a little bit. You know mama was all up in that jury. Oh, and the pain of the 4 killed. And if you were an honest person, you would extend that. Would you extend that to the husband? Like, I didn't do this. And I may not like him, but he didn't do this. And I want you to believe me, I didn't do this. So it should be true for all people who didn't do this. Should have gotten that Xbox. That's horrible, Carver. Should have gotten him the Xbox. We're going to get that Xbox, Carver. Don't worry. So where was I? In a tangle of sex, violence, and mental illness. You know, this. What's sick about this, too, is this like bread and circuses, manja, the public eating up nasty gossip because they love it. Is this like affair stuff and this CNN reporting on the tangle of sex, like as if they really cared. His attorney, Shannon Smith, argued that the blame lay elsewhere, on her husband for purchasing the firearm and encouraging the hobby, on the school for failing to notify her, and Ethan himself who pulled the trigger. And they bring up the case and the sex and the mental illness like they really care about that. Like they weren't just people like, oh my God, really? They really did that? Like, you're really going to tell me that's what people care about? Let me tell you, they do not care about mental health and mental illness. Let me tell you, the jury, the judge, most people, the media, Nobody cares about Ethan and the kids and those dead. Most people don't care, first of all. They're just, this is an amazing case. Oh, my God. And then those who are emotionally activated can then be goaded and into feeling bad for those killed. And then that turns into, well, we got to do something. And you got to get rid of, it's the law. That's what's the problem. And why you believe that because someone told you that. You saw it on TV. Someone told you that. And that makes sense to you that it's a law that caused Ethan Crumbley to go and kill 4 people. They don't care about mental illness. They don't care about this. The whole reason, there's only one reason why this is even happening, why Jennifer and the husband, I don't even know if they're married anymore. The husband, Jennifer, James Crumbleys, why the Crumbleys are even facing this at all. There's only one reason. It's because of the gun thing. That's the gun thing. It's the... They're just trying to... It's no secret. Look. There's only one reason. It's because of the guns. The gun thing. And they're trying to placate the pain of some. You got the pain of a bunch. The loud voices, but it's a small... But, those whose family were killed and all that. And the thing is our society is all about that. They're all about placating emotions, placating those hurt, placating... and doing something. You gotta give them money. You gotta give up something. You gotta change a law. You gotta string up someone, put him in a court, a kangaroo court. What's next? Feathering, stringing them up, hanging them, public torture. I don't know, but that's what our society is all about. A very brutal society that does not want to see justice, doesn't want to heal. They always talk about healing. They want to see revenge. That's why we never heal. Because it's about revenge. It's never about justice, about understanding. It's about revenge. And emotions are being employed here, okay, for the agenda of some. You got to understand, it's no secret the Second Amendment has been under attack for a long time. Notice the female jurors, the lead juror, the female prosecutor, judge, the defense attorney. They're all mama-ing up the whole thing, okay? About mental health. Oh my God, it's mental health. That when the prosecutors brought up, they brought up some part in this trial. They brought up this thing that Ethan Crumbley said about his mother and how he felt bad because his mother laughed at him when he texted her about seeing ghosts and demons and how she shrugged it off like it was nothing. And then when she was brought on to trial to be asked about that same thing, she said, well, no, it was just us playing. I didn't think it was serious. And so the females, the women in there were like, oh my God, she laughed at him. She laughed at him. What a bad mother. She's a bad mother for other reasons. Can we get a man in here? You know what I'm saying? So it's all mamaed up. You got the females. Okay, I'm trying to point this out. That, and they're feeling bad about dangerous firearms, right? They're scared about the guns. They feel bad for the families killed and all that. I'm trying to point out how the defense made it clear that they're not here to prove the morality, right? They're there to defend this woman. You got to understand, they're there to defend this woman from a state that has decided to bring these charges, these novel charges, in their misplaced vendetta against firearms. And I think that's, I don't know where the percentage lies. It's a combination of emotional female and female-minded politicians and people who think that the laws are the problem, guns are the problem, and they see the dead and the families, and they think, well, that's what we got to do. We got to take away the freedoms of citizens, of law-abiding people. And it's a combination of that and a combination of those people I just mentioned being used by people who hate the freedom of Americans for all their own reasons as well. Let's leave it at that. And so that's why this is happening. That's why this case is even happening. It's a vendetta against the firearms, against the freedom of people. It has nothing to do with actually she's a bad mother and parenting and families and bringing back families and what's really a family and how do you have a good family and how do you have a stable family and fathers. No, this case is about hating fathers. Look, her whole thing is about blaming the father. It's not about understanding and anger. Where she really went wrong has nothing to do with that. It's about the guns and about idiot pawns, emotional women going along with the agenda of evil people and their own evil, and really the truest, most evil agenda of all, the grandest conspiracy of all, that you don't need a man, you don't need a human flesh male, a person for that. The devil in our minds, making us think that we're noble, good people for feeling bad for these dead people, making us think we're noble. You see, that we're noble and good people for any of this crap, when it's still more of the same: hate, blame, and victimhood. The anger in the home, the so-called protecting, loving mother. That's not what this is about. You know what I'm saying, folks? So yeah, it's about the guns. I failed as a parent, I think. It's an amazing CNN headline here. You watch the video and she says the opposite. Jennifer Crumbley said, I failed as a parent. We just saw the video, CNN. She's basically saying the opposite. And her whole case, her whole defense is around the opposite. Well, you know, maybe she doesn't even know what being a bad mother is. Because most mothers, they probably agree with this. That's the thing. Most mothers would be on that jury and, well, the dead kids trump it. So, anyways. The dead teens. Gun grab propaganda. And anyways, what was I saying here? Ethan Crumbley. Who knows what will happen with the dad? With the father. But I wonder what he's thinking. If he knew their defense would be blaming him. Let me see what Chad is saying here. Let me see what Chad is saying here. I do want to see. Are they going to do this for the black parents? That's a fine question, Radulizer. Are they doing this to the black parents? Yeah, what about all the mass shootings? There's mass shootings every weekend. And they are just as bad, right? I mean, on the whole bad parenting thing. You know that this is not about actually finding out why they're bad parents, what constitutes a bad parent. All this protecting, loving, you know, I already said that. But on the blacks here and all that, they're out here committing more mass shootings than anyone else. These mothers raising thugs, full-on thugs. That's what these thugs of all races, they really are. They're like mamas, you know, quoting, I'm even just reading, I'm remembering something I read in The Antidote. But it's true, The Antidote. Jesse Lee Peterson, book he wrote. Great wealth of information, the true answer to what's going on here. But anyways, yeah, all these thugs, they're really they got mama drama troubles. They're a bunch of emotional, that's what thugs are. Emotional. I remember saying that in an Uber once. I don't know what the heck came over me. I was in an Uber when early on I had just arrived to LA kind of early on. And I was in one of those Ubers early on. I don't know if they do this anymore, but they were letting you ride share with other people. You would put in your destination and you would pick the cheaper option where they put you in the same Uber with multiple people going to different destinations, but they're like on the way. And so I was in one of these, and the driver was listening to a political podcast. And I said something about thugs are mamas or something like that, and he got mad. He turned around, he's like, don't be careful saying that around here, man. He looked like a little white Mexican white Hispanic guy. I'm like, why are you mad about this, man? Are you even like a thug? Are you even a gay? Are you even about that life? Are you even like that? I don't think you really like that. But anyways, I was talking to this guy and I was speaking the truth. Right on, Carver. Shout out the Glizz World forever. Appreciate this. Never forget. All Glizzers in the chat, you have not been forgotten. Great glizzy things are coming but great things come for those who wait. I don't think I failed as a parent. Did she say that? Hake asked in my chat. I forget now. Because she didn't say... She pretty much says, I don't think. What did she say again? I don't think I failed as a parent. We're going to have to do a little clip replay. Like a rewind. I need a rewind sound. I could do a crab scratch. I used to be able to do a crab scratch. We might have to see that again.
The prosecution admitted, you say that you failed as a parent. Are you a failure as a parent?
I don't think I'm a failure as a parent.
Oh, we got the tape rewind. Whatever. I'm done trying. We got the tape rewind.
But at that time,
She do be saying she doesn't think she failed as a parent. So, well, there you go. Whew, what a mess. Nick was on his Jesse thumping that day. No. I was so innocuous. I swear. I know it sounds like I was Jesse thumping. It was the most I'm like, come on, guys. Am I right? Maybe I could have picked a better time and place, huh? Am I right, y'all? I wonder if that's why they stopped doing those Uber ride shares. Do they do those anymore? I don't know. I haven't used Uber in a while, so. I haven't taken an Uber ride in a while, so. Oh, but the lady said, you say you failed as a parent. That's true, Hake. So that's true. Thank you for keeping at this. And because Hake is still talking in the chat about this. And I'm glad he did, because it's true. If you were paying attention, you may have missed it because I didn't really report it. But if you were paying attention to the clips, yeah, it seems like during the trial, somewhere in the trial, the Jennifer Crumbley may have said that she failed as a parent, and that's what she was being asked about on the stand there. And so she was correcting herself there. It's strange, right? But it's definitely not the headline. Oh, she admits she failed as a parent. She's having trouble with it. It feels like she's having trouble with it. Incredible. I am live on dlive.tv/Gorgonzola. I'm live on twitch.tv/Gorgonzola and rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Appreciate everybody supporting me over there. Let me check how y'all doing. What's up? AM and AM, M and M, Eminem, Eminem, but with A's. What's up, Ohio Sentinel? Appreciate that. Incredible. You can buy me a coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/Anchor Baby. Incredible. I wanted to show you. I wanted to move on. I think it's time to move on. Yes, I think so. Do you even thug, bro? I mean, there was a couple of... I may have been thumping a little bit. I don't know what... I just thought this was America, okay? I had just arrived to LA. You know, it's funny to think about how I was thinking and feeling, what I was thinking and who I was. What a silly thing to say. But who I was, I guess, when I arrived, and who I am now, and looking back a little bit. Or the things I was thinking, if I could put it that way. It's kind of funny to think about it. A couple things here. You know, I remember I got here. You can't, the OG MAGA hat, you can't get it outside of America. At least not back then. You couldn't order the OG Make America Great Again hat offered in the Trump store in Canada, which is what I wanted. I remember arriving to America, LA. I got myself a job. I was working at the Chateau Marmont. I always got to shout that out. I always got to say I worked at the Chateau Marmont, obviously. And I was making money. I got myself a little apartment, and I got myself the Trump hat. I got myself a MAGA hat. I'm like, I'm here. I'm in America. That's no way. I was gonna go to Texas. Ended up meeting Jesse. Bob's your uncle. What can I tell you? I didn't start working for him right at the beginning, though. Okay, I get myself a MAGA hat. I'm in America. I'm in Trump's America. I'm like, dang. Get me the hat. It arrives. And I'm like, let's go. I walk out with it. I'm like, I thought this was America. I'll put the hat on. I don't have a car quite yet, and I rent a little bird scooter, one of those bird scooters. They were limes. There's birds now and all that. I got on one of these lime scooters, and scooted my way to the Smart and Final, or the Food for Less, whichever was nearby. I went to the Food for Less. I was living in Hollywood. And I was like amazed, coming from Canada, where food prices, look, it's a fine country. My Canada in my heart, inflation, you guys are saying, oh, inflation, it's pretty bad now. Food prices have been pretty expensive in Canada, if I remember. All my life growing up, I heard that. And I'm in this big old American supermarket. Not that, it sounds like I've never been in a supermarket before. I come to America. No, I'm telling you though, it just felt great. I'm in America. And I got the hat. I get my groceries, and I'm on my way back, right? I'm on my way back, and I'm on Hollywood. I'm on Santa Monica, and I'm about to hit Van Ness, the street I lived on. And there's a group. This is a true story. Group of blacks on the sidewalk, walking towards me. I'm on the scooter, scooting back. 2 heavy bags on both. A heavy bag on both sides, trying to even out the weight. It was a little squirrely, but I made it happen. Got the hat on. They stopped me. They're like, no way, is that a real hat? Can I see it? Things are going through my head. Many things are going through my head. But I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'm a little apprehensive, but honestly, I should have just kept going. But I gave him the hat, and I thought he was going to run off with it or something. But he's like, right on, man. And he gave it back. And I put it on and went home. And that's what happened there. But I'm off on a tangent now, I guess, talking about my time here, because it's interesting what I used to think. And I think you might find this part interesting if you're a little bored. I also almost got into a fight with a cholo who's all tatted up from head to toe. Maybe I'll tell you that story too. But I remember driving around the streets of LA and going around. How do I put this? It was totally the mentality of an outsider. And intellectual. I want to see if you guys can see what I'm talking about. I would drive around and see the Mexicans in their food stands. And I drive to East LA and it's very Mexican. And I drive around being like, damn, man, it's true what I was seeing up there in Canada. Immigration's a mess. These Mexicans, man, they got this place dirty. And that's not a lie. It's still not a lie. But I want to highlight the difference between intellectuals and like knowing something, and I was just coming at this like an outsider, like when nobody really from there was really feeling like me. As wrong as something may have been, even the locals didn't quite feel like me. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense? And I was like, man, these Mexicans, like, I now see it different. It's still immigration's still wrong. and I don't want to see the blacks and whites of America go away, but I just wanted to kind of highlight that. LA, anyways, what the heck am I talking about? Los Angeles. Something you get while going around the city is you got a tip for everything. I'm sure it's like this in many cities. I'm sure it's like this now even more, increasingly more and more in every city. Even your little city, even your little town or whatever. You'll invariably start seeing these screens pop up. You see the screens, they'll pop up and they'll say 15%, 18%, 25%. Do you want a tip for that? You got a tip for that? You got a tip. Tip. Thanks, tips.
All right, there you go. Thanks. Oh, I was just going to ask a quick question. A tip for takeout? Okay. Thank you. Oh, thanks.
Oh, quick question.
This is so stupid. I don't even want to let this play out. This guy's just making a skit about all the things you got to tip for in America now. Doesn't it feel like this though? I said I don't want to play it while I play. I'm fickle. All right, I think I'm done with this. But it really does feel like you got tip for everything. You know, I heard a funny joke about tipping earlier. I heard a funny little joke about tipping in the office earlier. Nick, please, Nick, tell us about the Yemeni pirates. Wait, hold on. We're talking about tipping right now. The machine asked for a tip at Subway the other day. We were in line for like 20 minutes, too. It sounds like I struck a chord here. It's stupid but accurate. Whoa, I think we struck a chord here. The alarm clock gonna ask for a tip. Chris has seen this, has apparently seen this one. Yes, the way this one ends is the alarm clock asks for a tip. Probably has over 1 million views in a week. I mean, they're not wrong, right? I love this video, says Midnight Newton. Here's a tip. Get a better job. It feels like it's true. I keep moving off the center, and I have some very fine people in the office who telling me to move, and I ruin their suggestions. You know, it does really feel like that. You got a tip for everything. I heard a funny joke about tipping earlier and being stingy, but I've been in the food industry. Like I told you, I worked at the Chateau Marmont. I know what it's like. And I tip. I like tipping. And you can call in 888-775-3773. I think tipping is fine, but growing up, I always thought it was just, you do it for good service, right? You do it only because you got great service. You go in a coffee shop, you go to a Subway now, and everything's asking for a tip. I forget where, there was somewhere funny that asked me for a tip where you got to do your own thing. Anyways. But the thing is if you remember, there was all this talk about tipping and all this admonishing of the public, like, you don't tip, you're a horrible person. And this has kind of been a trend over the last few years, maybe in social media, and it's this nasty attitude to people who don't tip. And you got to tip, and tipping when you should do, why you should. And these servers, remember? These servers don't get paid enough. Remember all that? Oh, these poor servers, usually women. They usually don't get paid enough. If you don't tip them, that's where they make their money. They don't really make a wage. They don't make a living wage unless you tip them. It's a new world. And I think people just capitalize. They really just, the world is really always capitalizing on emotion and your fears. They saw all this. They said, wait, we can make people feel bad for not tipping and force them to tip with the most ridiculous stuff. Let's push it further and further. And if you're a business, you see other people doing it, I got to keep up. I got to get the tips too. You're telling me I can't. Put the screens up. Put screens everywhere. Tips everywhere. Things just change slowly. You know, the first signs of this came in the tech design world. Maybe not this tip stuff, but subscriptions. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're moving away from owning things. You will own nothing and be happy, you've heard. We're moving away from actual ownership. It started, really, if I remember, it kind of started first in the software world, where you don't really own pieces of software such as Photoshop, for example. You used to buy a license that was a couple $100, and this version you would own, and you would get updates for this version until the next one came out. And I think you would even get updates a little bit then. But this version of the software you bought is good, and it's yours. You own it. It comes in a CD even. Now you download stuff and you get permission to access it all by a subscription service. And people in the design world made in the software world made noise. They were like, no, this is wrong. No one really cared. This was a long time ago now, I think. And you have to subscribe. You don't own any software. You could be a subscriber for many years. You'll never, ever own it. But you'll always, I guess, have access to the updates. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. But it is a changing world a little bit. Don't you think? We've seen the sign. We see the signs a little bit in the tech world. Is one source of it lately. You may have seen this Vision Pro stuff. Anybody seen any Apple Vision Pros out there? The new Apple Vision VR headset. They say don't call it that. Don't call it a VR headset. Anybody seen any Apple Vision Pros out in the wild? I know someone who saw a cyber truck out there on a highway, I think, here in California. The future is here. Subway workouts. You know, I'm talking about this latest release from Apple. It's supposed to be a huge change, a paradigm shift in how we interact with stuff. Too early to tell, but they're definitely putting all their eggs, or a lot of their eggs in this basket here. And they believe people will be walking around with these things on their faces. And it looks like some of the hype, either it's hype or it's real, is true. Either the hype is true or it's, I don't know. Either this is a marketing campaign or the hype is true. They really will be out there in the streets with your face computer. It's a face computer. It's not a VR headset, okay? Don't call it a VR headset. It's way cooler than that. There were, look, Apple Vision Pro lets you watch 5 live sports games at once while texting your friends at the same time. This is an iPhone moment in technology. That's great, right? We really need that. I need to do that. I need to watch 5 games and text my friends. I mean, I guess I could watch a game and text my friends already. But I need to do it in VR space. I'm sick of real space. Okay, I need to have 5 virtual screens. So this is how it works if you didn't know. You can go into virtual space or you could leave it showing your surroundings, but then you make like screens. You like create screens. And in these screens, you can watch things, text people. It's a face computer, okay? And you're going to love it. You're going to get used to it. Honestly, I'm not sure. It'll be either this or these AI phones, these like AI companion type things. It'll be a combination of the two, to be real. It's a little funny to see people out there in public, though, where they used to say that even the Bluetooth in your ear is strange. That's such a weird thing to do. People have no shame these days, really. I'm not surprised that people would go around wearing a Apple Vision Pro, especially when you have like a sort of status to it. It's this is where Apple is innovative or something, because there really are VR headsets. This technology already existed. You could already create a sort of virtual office with the Quest and other things, and make windows where you could have your email here and many things, and be super productive. You'll be so productive you could do the work of 5 people. That's what I think when I see people with multiple monitors. I'm like, you're being paid. You have 5 monitors, right? You're being paid the salary of 5 people, right? I have 2 monitors. I shouldn't talk crap. Hey, people with 5 monitors, you're doing the work of 5 people, right? Apple Vision Pro, so productive. You'll be so productive. You'll be so ridiculously productive. You won't even imagine. And it's a status symbol. That's the other innovation here in the VR world, because it's beyond a VR headset now. Now it's a $3,500 status symbol. If you start thinking maybe Apple just might be able to do it. They just might be able to do it. You start thinking to yourself, by gosh, Apple just might do it. I guess here they are driving with it. Will they put the tip screens in your Apple Vision Pro too? How are the ads gonna look in there? Next, they're gonna beam the ads into my dreams in my head. Oh, and you're in your Tesla too? No, officer, you don't understand. I can see through these things. Here's the thing. He's not actually seeing. The thing about the Apple Vision Pro, you're actually not see. They have this thing called pass-through. And the thing is, you have this dial up here, and you turn it one way, and the world around you goes away, and you're now in a virtual space. And you turn it the other way, and you can see again. So you can keep it on. And you walk around, and you can see again. You can see your hands. You can interact with the world. Drive, maybe. But you're actually not seeing. The funny thing about this, maybe some of you might find this interesting on the tech and the nerding out here. Because you have your eyes and you have reality. What is reality, right? I guess that's another conversation. And what is your experience of reality? Oh, dang. It's just your nervous system. But okay, so you got your eyes and your nervous system and you're seeing reality. But the Apple Vision Pro, it's passed through. You're seeing through the cameras of the Apple Vision Pro. So you're really not even using your eyes. You're looking at screens. That's what this person's doing. Brave new world. So, you know, they just might do it. Apple. These crazy people. They just might do it. People walking around with their Apple Vision Pros. Look. San Francisco, what is this? San Juan? I mean, this could just be marketing, but this could be marketing, but marketing and hype begets more marketing and hype. They just might sneak it past us. He should just go up. He should just be wearing those and go up to one of those people on this subway and just go Eric Andre on them. Enhance, X-ray vision, zoom, enhance. Let me see through their clothes. Anyways, will our lives change? But it made me think. It made me think a little bit about what's this about productivity and all this. I think about these older like corporate types. I know some. And they're organized. When they want to achieve something, they have a long-term plan, a short-term plan. They have goals. I think there's a practical use for that to a degree without it being crazy. You know, they'll write one thing down and they'll write how to do that one thing and get that thing done. What's this about? Like, I need all these windows and all this stuff. It doesn't seem very productive. It sounds like autism. It sounds like autism. It sounds like me watching YouTube videos at 2 times speed. Okay, but that's actually more productive. I get to defend my own thing. But it sounds a little strange. There's something going on with attention span and parenting to kind of tie this together with the earlier segment even. There's something going on, okay? Attention span, parenting. Could someone explain this to me? What the heck is this? 14-year-old artist with autism creates an amazing eagle. I mean, someone, I need an expert. I need someone to explain this one to me. What is going on? This is an autism kid?
So what are you drawing today?
Eagle. I'm sorry. I mean, is he playing video games? He's watching YouTube videos while doing this? What's going on here? What language is that? It sounds Chinese. It sounds like Mandarin, but it doesn't look Mandarin to me. I mean Chinese. He's laughing. He's laughing. He's split attention, laughing at the video. He's holding this pencil in a strange way, making strange lines. I don't know how this is supposed to be an eagle. Obviously, it turns into one. A spoiler. I mean,
Funny. Funny?
funny.
Huh? What is funny?
Funny.
Let me know.
Is he an
Mickey,
autistic savant?
What is funny?
So it is an eagle, as you can see. I mean, this feels like the Apple Vision Pro. This feels like what I could do with the Apple Vision Pro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It just feels autistic. It just feels autistic. I don't know. It's a brave. I'm just wondering about this brave new world. What do you got to say, Bill? But yeah, it was an eagle. He may be a savant. I don't know. But you see this? Mama's killing him, says Johnny Bender in my chat. You know, this goes back a little to the first segment and all that. Society and how... What's the projected direction here? Where are these going here, you know? Dude, that boy is amazing. I don't know. It's a high IQ thing. I don't know. He's doing these two things at once. And this is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen these autists online. And they'll be doing two things at once. And it calms them down, apparently. I wonder what would happen if that same kid we just saw, had parents that just didn't necessarily try and force them to do anything, but didn't just go along with the words like autism and just went along with all the little words and all the little diagnoses and all that and just did what was right no matter what. Even if they called your son autistic, you got to do one thing at a time. And you got to finish one thing, you got to focus. And you just got to, right? And anything less won't be that. So we'll try, we'll sit here until you do, and you may feel uncomfortable and you want to cry, but just work through it. We'll work through it. I'll be patient, and I won't call it autism. I won't call it, oh, you just got problems. I won't call it anything. I'll just see you squirm and as a parent and let you be what they call you, autistic. But I just wonder what would happen if a kid dealt with a father who was more like that. I'm not saying that he's not, but imagine that for a second. If a father just saw their kid have emotional distress, uncomfortable, didn't want to do something even though they knew it was right or just the correct, normal way to do things, and just let them be uncomfortable, didn't call it anything, didn't call it autism, you know what I mean? I wonder what would happen with these kids that they're calling autistic. You know what I mean? When in reality, he needs that. What do you mean? Blast off? Shoot, I must be autistic too. That's what I get to when I see these videos. I remember playing Skyrim and having a Trailer Park Boys playing in the background. I might be autistic. Whoever had a Skyrim and Trailer Park Boys at the same time. Double the entertainment. What a mess. My husband has Asperger's and his parents ignored it. It hurt him in life greatly. What do you mean? What should they have done? 888-775-3773. You want to jump on the air. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Oh, man. I mean, I was just looking at all these amazing developments. They're saying amazing things are happening. Did you ever see that video of The Line? That city in, like, Saudi Arabia? This $1 trillion futuristic city, The Line. They, in fact, apparently, they really are building it. Aerial photos show staggering scale, and this is from the Daily Mail. And I see your calls coming in. Appreciate that. 888-775-3773. I mean, it's not much right now. I think this is just a artist representation of The Line, but it's supposed to be in here. Imagine that, in the desert. It's supposed to be this incredible futuristic city that's in a line. I don't know what to say. I thought this was a
For too long, humanity.
Whoa, sorry about that.
Dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature.
Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life.
These are the Saudi Arabians. Yeah, they sound like this too. To a more sustainable life. This will be a more equitable, sustainable way of life. And for all people, the line in Saudi Arabia will be... do they all speak like this? What's going on? Why is everybody speaking like this? It'll be more equitable and environmentally friendly. I got Mr. Pink out of California. Thank you for your call, Mr. Pink. How you doing?
What up, Anchor Baby? I'm surprised I'm still alive after that landing on Friday, but...
That was wild, man.
Just a couple bruises.
A couple of bruises, but impressed, no?
Yeah, no, I was surprised that the plane went right through the barrier at the end of the runway.
It was a little shocking, I'm sure, and that little bump at the end when we hit the mountain. I'm sure that was a shock for most, but the truly most shocking thing of all was the landing itself. We were literally parallel. We were parallel to the runway. I've never seen that.
You were like, hey, what? I'm not on the runway. Anyway, making a couple comments on, topics at hand, the Google glasses, the Apple glasses, whatever. Before I get on to that, first of all, little note, don't blame the workers when you're at the stores and the little tip thing pops up.
Oh, yeah.
Because honestly, that comes up automatically when you push the payment button. We've gotten complaints at our work through reviews and stuff. It's like, don't put the tips on the thing. Just rude. You get a 0. And it's like, but it's not our fault.
I totally understand. Yeah, I should have made that clear too, because that's what I think too when I see those. I know it's not the person's fault right then; it's the establishment. But most people probably wouldn't see that.
Are you asking for my money right now?
Excuse me.
Like, I'll tip you if I feel like it.
That is hilarious. I should ask them. I should ask the individual employee. Excuse me, what's this? You want to explain? You want more money from me?
Yeah.
Do they not pay you enough? Excuse me, do you need more money?
Yeah. It's like,
I'm sorry.
Honestly, we just put juice in a bag. I mean, that's kind of shocked me since I first started working at this place. I just put juice in a bag. I don't really have to make it or anything. No physical labor involved. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what, should I tip you for being here? It's like the whole Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs. I don't tip. I don't believe in it. You don't tip a person at McDonald's, but you tip a person over here. What? But anyway.
It's if I'm being wined and dined, if I'm being served. I like that. Like, excuse me, that was a great experience.
Yeah, I expect my coffee to be filled up 5 times at least.
Oh no, for the counter stuff, that's a no. When it's these counter tips, this is what I'm saying. That's ridiculous. I know it's not the individual employee's fault.
I make so much money off of tips that are just like, to me, I'm like, that's absurd. I probably shouldn't be getting that, but I'll take it.
No, and that's fine. People want to use their money like that. That's one thing. But that's an interesting point to make too, because it kind of shows how much of a pushover. The Americans are pushovers.
Oh yeah. People that just go, it's the automatic, assumed
it just popped
automatic
up.
15%.
Right. Imagine if you had to ask.
Imagine if you put the 10% on like a $5 thing, so I get like awesome. 50 cents. It's like, bruh, all right, whatever.
You got to. If I were your boss or anything, if I had a store, I would train my employees to not even have the screen, but to look them in the eyes and ask them. You would get so much more money,
right?
And give them a guilt trip too. Oh.
Yeah. Well, there is the thing is, I work for a bigger, nationwide corporation, so they have a universal way that it's set up, whatever. Anyway, on this whole Apple Vision thing, I think we're moving step by step closer to the transhumanist agenda that Alex Jones warned us about. They're trying to turn us into machines. Oh my God. Basically, we saw the news the other day that Elon Musk got that brain chip in the first person.
Neuralink.
Mm-hmm, that's happening. I saw ads for Google glasses forever ago that was all about, you'll be able to wear this and the Google Maps will work on your face, so it'll tell you where to walk down the street and where to go all the time. I mean, I think about my grandpa back in the day arguing with my grandma about, I know what I'm doing, woman. I don't need directions. I just wonder what he would think now. Everybody basically has directions to go everywhere on their phone. I don't know. It's just taking the humanity out of everything. Go and find it yourself is gone.
I just don't know. I don't know what to think because because look, the science is interesting and sound when you realize that your experience is made up of this of electricity, and that you can fix it by that same method is an interesting prospect. What we're seeing with Neuralink, what their proof of concepts we're seeing, I mean, that they were able to make a monkey actually possibly see things and make limbs move. The implications are incredible for health and for disability,
definitely,
and for so many. I mean, what can I say? So that's amazing.
There's definitely positives to how this can advance, right? Obviously, it can help people with health. It can increase functioning limbs that people can control with their mind and stuff like that. I mean, that's
incredible.
Fine.
But to add to what you were saying,
great.
I wanted to add to what you were saying.
But the problem is that and the same thing with AI is it's like if we get it to a point where the robots, the machines are controlling us instead of the other way around. And that's why, I'm on Elon Musk's side. I don't really know what sides because, who knows who he's really working for.
No, but you understand him when he warns about AI and what it could turn into.
It's like his whole, stance against, like, say, the Google people who are trying to make it a god and have it think for us. And that's when we get into an issue. It's like, okay, if we're letting machines think for us and write all the essays for us and all that stuff, it's like, at what point are the computers making up our thoughts versus the humanity coming up with these ideas independently? And I don't even know if we're already there.
That's never happened. But what you're saying brings me to the point I wanted to add to what you were saying here is that you're saying the computers, we can't let them control us and all that.
Right. It's like, and there could be, ghost in the machine, basically. That's demons in the machine, basically telling us the way to think and the way to act, and who knows how far that could go down. Like
that's already happening.
Terminator Road.
That's already here. That's already here. What I'm saying is, what I wanted to say though is that, you notice what you were saying there is that we're offloading these things that, for example, how you said your grandpa used to know. Stop, you don't need to tell me that, woman. And and what we're doing is we're offloading these tasks and daily things that used to occupy our minds or whatever onto this technology that does it for us, right? And as we're doing that,
it's taking away the human experience.
Right. So I'm trying to say that they're trying to do that. As you notice, I remember hearing, like, for example, from my own mother, how she would never use an alarm to wake up. And Jesse confirmed that. But I got to use the alarm. I noticed when I stopped using the alarm a little bit that I did have that in me. But anyways, I'm just trying to make that point that we're offloading these things to the machines, and it's kind of killing it in us. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know what to say about that.
I mean, I was thinking that when I was on hold. I was like, well, I'm late all the time, and I set an alarm because I just hit snooze. I'm like, whatever. And, I'm on CP time just by default, just because of my environment, and, I can, act that way. But I mean, I think that with the Neuralink stuff and all that stuff, it's like, will we be able to have something that triggers our mind to just get up and, like, not push snooze?
Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. A get up implant.
Yeah, right. It's
you can't sleep in
somewhere, and you can't like control whether your mind will shut that off or not. Yeah, so that's a weird.
I'll take a get up implant and an ad block implant, please. Right on, Mr. Pink. Some techie stuff. We'll see.
Yeah,
but it was an interesting comment someone made in my chat here. CSS element that the computers already control us. Too late for that.
Yes, I feel like, are we already too far down this road to reverse that course? And I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know for sure, but it doesn't seem like we're starting to lose control. I'll just say.
Right on, Mr. Pink.
We're getting too lazy. We're starting to lose control.
We'll see what happens and who the overlords end up being. Until then, call me again, Mr. Pink.
Yeah, let's hope we don't end up like Terminator. All
right on. Appreciate that,
Peace,
Mr.
brother.
Pink. Right on. Until then, we will wait and we'll see. We shall wait and see. Whatever. Overlords. Let's come back to reality. What are you guys talking about? Let me just thank a couple of super chats here. I do appreciate it. Terry Strange says, Tip Ping is not a city in China. Just so you know. Christopher with a super chat says, speaking of tips, thanks, Nick. Right on. I thank you for that. A tip and another tip from Carver with a super chat here says, tip only waitresses, bartenders, and pilots. Thank you, Carver. Appreciate that. Keeping it real. Chris with another one here. Tips. Thank you, tips. I got Chris with the tips here saying 20%, big old 20%, and that's fair, Chris. That is absolutely fair. Thank you. Some might even say 18. And the tips over there, D-Live, thank you. With the lemons. Lemons and ice creams. Wow. I got chatters over on Twitch. What's up, Twitch? Radulaser. Das Frenwe. How you doing, folks? Appreciate you being in my Twitch chat. That's cool. I should make these replays. I wonder if my replays are up on Twitch. I should just make them always be up on Twitch. Duh. Let's do that next. I might be guilty of having a few monitors, says Radulaser. That means you're getting paid the work of 3 men, right? Twitch.tv/Gorgonzola. Who knows what'll happen with Twitch. All right, folks. That's the supporters. Oh, dang. Hold up. Wait a minute. We got my close and personal friend 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 with a coffee says, what do you think about the Venus Project? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What is that? The Venus Project. Sounds a little familiar. I appreciate the coffee there. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏. My close and personal friend, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏. You can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. What is the Venus Project? What in the heck are you talking about? Oh, dang. I totally have heard of this. Isn't this like a total pipe dream? The Venus Project. This got a whole bunch of attention on the internet. Like, this was like even before Trump, I think. This must have been like 2013, 20. Let's even see. What is this? Venus Project. This was posted a year ago? Oh, 9 years ago. Yeah, see, 9 years ago. So 2014, 2015. Yeah, this was like right before Trump. I remember this got some attention during the, I feel like Kickstarter and GoFundMe was taken off. There were a lot of Kickstarter projects that were getting a lot of attention at the time. And I believe this Venus Project was also enjoying some of that hype. And the whole thing was a like radical reimagining of societies and how they're set up and stuff. But I don't know. This was a long time ago when I saw this. I remember some negative comments about this. This is too long to get into. I'll check it out though. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏. See if I remember what this was all about. And the Venus Project. I think I remember there being like some controversies. Some saying it's a utopian dystopia. It usually is. But I appreciate the tips. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒏, I'll look into that. How about that, huh? 888-775-3773. What's up, DJ 2020? Thank you. That's awesome. With the tips. I got tips on tips. What shall we do now? You know, this amazing ruling with Trump happened. Tucker and Putin. Groceries. I mean, what shall we do first in the last half hour of the show here? What shall we do here first? What's chat saying right now? Now I have to tell my boss I'm underpaid because I have multiple. Where are my multiple monitors at? Okay. Ballers don't super chat. What the? Lord Spike Protein. Trump ruling immunity. Something that happened recently. Incredible stuff. Trump not immune, they're saying. They're saying he's not immune in the 2020 election interference case. As this whole thing continues. Let us see here. See if we could watch some of this news report, huh? Let us watch some of this news report. How do we make this happen, though? Oh, did we just fix it?
Coming on the air with breaking news about former President Donald Trump. Just moments ago, a federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. rejected Mr. Trump's legal claim that the former president is immune from criminal charges for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. This all ahead of his criminal trials that are slated to start a little bit later this year, as early as March, perhaps. Let's go straight to our senior legal correspondent, Laura Jarrett. So let's just start with what this ruling means and what it does not mean. And I would assume that the president will likely appeal immediately to the Supreme Court.
He may go to the Supreme Court, Craig, but just to walk people through what has happened here, the former president tried to file this motion to try to get the case completely wiped away from the books, right? Because if he's immune from prosecution, then he cannot be tried at all. And again, this isn't the case in Washington, D.C., where he's been accused of trying to overturn the last election. Now, he lost in the lower court on that issue. He appealed up to this 3-judge panel. 2 Biden appointees, 1 Bush appointee has rejected that completely. Now that he's lost at this level, he can try to go to the full panel of D.C. Circuit judges there. There are about 11 or 13 active judges. Or, if he wants, he can go to the Supreme Court. Now, why might he
Some great info here. Thank you, NBC.
Want to go to the full D.C. Circuit? Because the whole point of this is to delay.
Got it.
And so if he does that, it slows this train down, Craig.
NBC's Garrett Hake has been covering the former president. Garrett joins us now. They're from Washington. Garrett, have we heard anything so far from the former president or his team?
We've not yet, Craig, but I think we know what we will hear from the former president. I suspect he will announce an appeal either to the district court, to the appeals court en banc, as Laura was suggesting, or to the Supreme Court.
Actually, he did respond. Trump rages at nation-destroying ruling that he does not have immunity and demands it overturned. Daily Mail. Donald says presidents needed to function without fear of vicious retribution from opponents. 3-judge panel of appeals court judges issued their ruling on Tuesday that he did not have immunity from prosecution. You know, all of this is historic, you know. All of these are firsts. He claimed it would prevent future presidents from doing their job and ruin the country. A nation-destroying ruling like this cannot be allowed to stand. And he said it would leave any president in fear of opponents' vicious retribution after leaving office. I mean, isn't it like that already? But yeah, it'll be like impeach Central. They're already trying to go after Biden, trying to impeach Mayorkas. It'll just be impeach. His anger also hinted, they say his anger. I don't know how you'll know that. His anger also hinted at how the ruling delivered a severe blow to his attempts to head off prosecution for the events that led up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol in 2021, as he tried to cling on to power. Whoever wrote this is not a very unbiased journalist. A president of, this is from Trump on his Truth Social. A president of the United States must have full immunity in order to properly function and do what has to be done for the good of our country. A nation-destroying ruling like this cannot be allowed to stand if not overturned, as it should be. This decision would terribly injure not only the presidency, but the life, breath, and success of our country. A president will be afraid to act for fear of the opposite party's vicious retribution. I'm sorry, I slowly slipped into... I'm slipping into a Trump hypnosis here. And an ad popped up, and now I can't read it. Okay, ads. Thank you, ads. Keep popping up. I know from personal experience, because I'm going through it right now, it will become a political weapon used for election interference. Even our elections will be corrupted and under siege. So bad and so dangerous for our nation. Yeah, presidential. So that's what he's saying about presidential immunity. Another thing in the crosshairs of the media and the enemies, people who hate Trump. If you notice, at every turn, Trump haters keep sacrificing basic things. You know? Just basic things. Like, we hate Trump. That's why we got to get sick Eugene Carroll on him. Meanwhile, sacrificing any trust in courts and throwing men under the bus. All men. That kind of stuff. Truth and rule of law. No, let's throw that out. Just prosecute the man. No, forget that. It won't bite us in the butt. It won't come back to bite us in the butt. It won't. We're not eroding the pillars of this culture and society and this civilization. No. Just get him. Get the man. Yeah, the Trump voice overcame me. No. Immunity. What? We're gonna hamstring the government for future president? That doesn't matter. We need to get him. We need to stop Trump. Some of us get labeled. Oh. They fused into one, the MAGA Trump baby. Anyways, folks. What else is there to say about this, though? That's pretty much that. Keep slouching on my seat here. Okay. Can someone explain this to me? Inflation and groceries is something I don't quite understand here. They're saying the groceries are so expensive now. But who's at fault? Is it inflation? Is it or is it these companies, these executives at these grocery stores? Some say it's the fault. My bad. Some say it is the fault of the of the CEOs. NDP MP Rachel Blaney said in the House of Commons on Thursday that families were unable to buy groceries, accused the Liberals of letting grocery CEOs off the hook for sky-high food costs. You may be confused. This is Canadian politics, that's why. A member of Parliament, an MP, the NDP is a party, a political party in Canada. And they're saying the CEOs are the ones to blame. They're the ones gouging. They're price gouging the public. Oh, hold up.
Hi, Mr. Speaker. Families are having to take turkey off their Christmas dinner menu because of sky high.
So this is from a while ago, but the NDP is saying the CEOs are doing this. This is from news that just happened the other day. But they've been, as you can see, this has been a bit of a saga.
High food costs. And what are the Liberals doing? Letting their grocery CEO friends off the hook. While the corporate Conservatives, they just want to block a national school food program to feed our kids. Shame. Both have lost the holiday spirit. What does the minister have to say to Canadians who are cutting back this Christmas because he won't stand up to CEOs?
Here. Hey, look. Oh, my God.
The Honourable Minister of Innovation.
A brown lady as a member of parliament there, and her tough on the CEO's stance. Where are you, Mr. Speaker? Huh? What will you say, Mr. Speaker, to the Canadians? But whose fault? Who's at fault here? They're saying the CEOs are just taking advantage. They're just bumping up the prices. Yeah, big old evil CEOs. Pandemic hit. You gotta buy food somewhere, huh? You're gonna have to eat eventually, huh, Canadians? And so they're just bumping up the prices. Yesterday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, now we're back to America, gave a 60-minute interview in which he said the U.S. is on an unsustainable fiscal path. Powell, who clearly, Jerome Powell, he's the Federal Reserve Chair, okay? They handle a lot of the money, interest rates specifically, and printing of the money. But Americans, he indicated that Americans shouldn't expect lower interest rates next month, but instead, possibly sometime later this year. Powell made it clear that he wants inflation down to predictable levels so Americans can get groceries in peace before he loosens controls. Okay, so this inflation's out of control, prices are up, but the Federal Reserve, as they do, swooping in a control and they got their hands tightly on the controls here, keeping interest rates high so that people save. They'll go around spending wildly and letting the economy continue to inflate wildly. To shrink, to cause a shrinking, sort of. They have it, right? They got it. The Fed's Reserve got it. There's no reason why we can't trust them, right? But that's besides the point. He's saying, don't worry. I'll get to it. Sometime maybe later this year, we'll finally loosen up here. And we could let things chug along normally. So because then inflation will be down and you guys can buy groceries at peace. But for now, we got to keep things expensive, inflated. I'm trying to illustrate these two parallels here. These parallels going on in Canada and America, not that far from each other, not that different. They're different, I guess. Canada's a European Union in that they maintain these different cultures, the French, the Scottish, the sort of. And then they started then the floodgates opened, they let in all sorts of people. But they're Western and they're a little more socialist, but at times can be an indicator of things to come. Innovation. Whoa, sorry about that. In many ways. And I'm trying to draw this parallel here because there's these two countries went through similar things: a pandemic, this stress on the economy and the supply chains. And then further, this doesn't really get mentioned, I noticed, the supply chains and the inflation. But you have to mention this part. When you're talking about inflation, you can't forget the war in Ukraine and LNG and gasoline, okay? Energy exports. You got to understand a lot of energy, a lot of important goods were coming from that part of the world. When energy prices goes up, everything goes up, okay? Then sanctions and all that crap that the American government is trying to is putting in place as soft acts of war in the global stage. Guess who has to bear with it and bear the pain and buckle down as America does all this? The people. Why do you think that is? How do you think that works? The Fed Reserve's Powell, urgent for U.S. to focus on debt sustainability. So I'm trying to, again, if you're following this parallel, they're saying here, well, inflation's crazy, supply chains, and a bunch of stuff happened, so we had to swoop in and do this on purpose because we're in a transitory, you've heard this before, Janet Yellen, another one of the heads of the money. We're in a transitory inflation phase or whatever. This inflation is important. You got to go through it. We're in a transitory phase right now. This has a purpose, this inflation. It's the calm before it's the pain before the heaven, the bliss. But in Canada, they're saying, no, this is a corporate, this is actually an aggressive corporate takeover, and the corporations are. And so now the government has to swoop in and stop the corporations. I don't know what to make of it. Is it a communist socialist takeover up there in Canada that's going on? Is it a full-on communist, like, you see what I'm saying here, folks? You saw Trudeau. I played you the clip not that long ago, saying I don't know what he doesn't know what he's gonna do, but everything's on the table when dealing with these corporations who are gouging the public. I don't know. Where are the economists? I need help. Where are the economists? Someone make sense of this. Black-faced Trudeau, you know. Everything bad to America trickles down from Canada. Welcome to America, Nick. Hey, Lord Spike Protein. The LNG, that LNG block kicked us all into privates. Yeah. Yep. Economies, they're really just goods. And they're not immune to price changes. Like, it's all... Anyways. What a mess. High-maintenance Federal Reserve girlfriend. Huh. Imagine that. Are you talking about dating Janet Yellen? I wonder what... Are you saying... Are you guys pondering what that'd be like? Dating Janet Yellen. You mean mushroom Janet Yellen? She would probably be a sweetheart. She would probably be a huge sweetheart before the marriage and kids. You guys would have so much fun. You guys are like, oh yeah, we have inside jokes. We watch funny movies. She knows about crypto. She knows about cryptocurrencies.
Come to order. Without objection, the chair is off.
I don't know why this is funny. Janet Yellen, my girlfriend Yellen.
Authorized to declare a recess committee at any time.
It would be
The hearing
fun.
is titled the Annual Report of the Financial
Whoever's into
Stability
her.
Oversight Council. Without objection, here.
Show me Yellen.
Impact.
Come on. Oh, come on.
Regulator. Something architects of the Dodd-Frank Act.
Stop
promised
talking,
FSOC.
man.
Council is focused on digital assets.
This is who we're
and
talking about.
related
Let's go.
risks, such as from runs on crypto asset platforms.
She'd be cute. What are you talking about?
Potential vulnerabilities from crypto asset price volatility.
If you and if she wasn't doing before the marriage and before doing any of this crap, she might have been even fun. It's called a bowl cut, gentlemen. Dating Janet Yellen sounds like a reality TV show. Angry warmonger. That is funny. And then you get married and it's like, oh crap, she's angry and she hates me. And what does she do again? She's the head of the money. Janet Yellen. She's an economist serving as Secretary of the Treasury. My girlfriend Yellen. My girlfriend Janet.
Bruh.
Nope. We're not watching that. That's not what I'm trying to watch. Okay, one last yelling clip.
Corporate America gets all the benefits of American stability and fiscal policy, but bears none of the responsibility. Walmart, they make billions in profits. Their workers are one of the largest.
Look at her little communist face. You're so right, man. You're making a lot of sense. Look at her little communist face.
Of social service programs. Why don't Walmart workers share in the profits of Walmart?
In a capitalist system, companies have a right to distribute profits to their shareholders.
In a capitalist system, as opposed to what? What are you talking about, Janet Yellen?
This is the insidious part, I think, of when we talk about that we have a free market system. Because what it makes it seem like is that the natural order of things is that Walmart makes billions in profits and can distribute it to its shareholders, and that's just how it goes. But
It is how it goes. Look, I'm not saying Walmart isn't evil. I'm not saying Walmart supported Black Lives Matter. Okay, didn't the CEO come out and do this whole big old emotional thing for? Look, they got their problems, but to tell me that Walmart doesn't provide something that everybody wants, all these products cheap in one building, where you got your McDonald's there, you're telling me there's a reason when Neuralink starts making prosthetics, it's not going to be, it's going to be totally natural that they make billions and billions of dollars because they can make you walk again. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe they even do evil things, but it's still great. It's a feat of, anyways, these people. It's all this emotion, right? At least admit the truth here that there's a reason why these corporations, it's because we manja, we eat it up, we manja, we love it.
We know that we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing their workforce with food stamps. They're getting the benefit of our tax dollars. Corporate.
You know, it's not a bad conversation to have. There's some interesting things here, okay? This is not a bad conversation to have, and I've never liked this. This is a strange conservative Republican aversion to anything that sounds like collective and social. That sounds like socialism. What do you mean? Wait, credits? You mean you want to give money to people for having babies and staying married? That's socialism. And I got some support here as we end off the show here. Some closing super chats. I do appreciate it, Lord Spike Protein. Thank you for that. With a goal, a little pair saying goal. Thank you for the support there, Lord Spike Protein. Appreciate that. And everybody else, supporters over there on Rumble, D Live, you guys rock. Thank you for super chatting and showing your support. I'll be back tomorrow. I have more American Anchor Baby coming at you on a Wednesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, not today. What's wrong with me? Tomorrow is Wednesday. And we got more American Anchor Baby. Don't miss it. That's Hake Report at 11 a.m. At 9 a.m. We got 6 a.m. That's the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Manhood Hour. Joel Friday in between James and I, and American Anchor Baby at 12. As we do. But for now, I think I'll say adieu. Build a time machine and ask why we went off the gold standard. That is a fine question. That is a fine question, Hillary. Free the glizza. All right, folks, that's enough from me. Appreciate it as always. Take care. Bye.